hey. Good day, good day. Had to run downstairs and put a message going on air because everybody was like, come down and eat. I'm like, I gotta talk. So, hey, everybody. Um, Happy September 3rd. We've gotten through Labor Day, and the it's a beautiful day in Vilcabamba, I must say. I decided to hang my art and move in, and I went, I'll probably die here, so I might as well. What am I waiting on? It's like, when you buy those little beautiful gift soaps, or at least my mother did, but we couldn't touch them. So I was like, I'm going to use my art. I'm at home. So let's talk about today. But I want to dedicate this podcast to Julian Assange and his work. And, I appreciate the brother who looked at all the aspects of what he was doing and the potential and the possibilities. And I talk about the financial opportunities had with his connection with WikiLeaks and the Bitcoin and the money he was able to secure to support his work for that. So as he is they're trying to take him down, you know how that goes. And we will read about that in history, or we've read about it in fiction, but now we see it again and we're living again. And as I have had the experience of battling the my government, and I'm not in jail, so I'm like, but I'm out of the country because I'm like, I've seen him play dirty pool. And as a whistleblower myself, I just went, I'm going to just lay low, get on out the dough, and do what I need to do in a manner that will support as many lives as I can. And information is power. So let's get to the information. So, first thing I want to talk about, let's get to. This is the fun part, y'all, when I have to use the technology. So, hold on with me. I'm a little old, but I'll figure it out. Um, See, and it does it backwards. Okay. Nope. Oh, it gives me an option to share the audio. Now I see that little button. All right, this is my friends over at Space uh, Observer, and it's talking, but you don't need to hear it. Yeah. Oops, I did that too fast. Sorry about that. Okay, anyway, the link is in there. The conversation is about dark matter and it being disputed. If you paid attention to CERN at all, the um, the statement they made of the purpose of CERN, and there's more than one, is to discover the God particle or dark matter, the source of all things. Um, my guy over at Ben Davidson over at Suspicious Observer and their following of astronomers have consistently just published day after day, every morning, all the reports and all the studies from the astronomers around the world saying that's bullshit. It's not, there is no dark matter. It is called connected. What we have seen as dark is because we have a very limited spectrum of light that we can see. So as humans, we can't see stuff. And even with our technology, that's why they were just blowing stuff up. But as a former ex-CERN physicist, said we put a hole in the universe, and we've like broken our own program and broken our own toys and broken our own universe because of that. So that little man-made thing is problematic, and it has frustrated me to no end to go, why can't we be good humans? What's wrong with our species that we can't get this right? And no matter who I listen to, and we're going to go through a few of them today, and just looking at their perspectives. And you got to look at, where are they looking? Where are they playing their game from? And I got a piece on here from Graham Hancock, because he's just done another talk last month, and looking at the Americans and the old previous civilizations. And it brings me back to full circle. How come we can't get this right as a civilization? So again, the dark matter issue, but I'm going to move on quickly and go to what next, and then I'll wrap up with Graham on what I'm seeing on the end of that. So sorry about that. Let me try to share my screen again. See if I can get this right. And let's go to US news, because what are we talking about? We're doing violence again. We are the leading country in the world. And as Jimmy Carter says, the most violent, warring country that's ever been. And so this is a story from Midland, Odessa area of another shooting. And uh, oh, copycat, we can call it that. We can call it's very handled differently, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it because it's really the point is the local media has had more control than the national media. And where the Odessa police doesn't want to give out the name, even though it's already out there, pictures, the young man, Seth Attor is his name, Seth Attor, 36-year-old, had called the police department, said he was upset. He had been fired from his trucking job. And then, went on the old fashioned rampage and just getting angry and starting shooting at people. So that's a kind of unorganized, angry man response that you get. Just grab the gun and go out and shoot and steal a car and go, just like in the movies. And how the local media had control of it. Now, um, I got in more trouble with my post in El Paso about El Paso because it hit home and it hurt me. And I was like, damn it, they did it to my hometown. And I responded too quickly, and I apologized for that on air, and did that because I realized they can't hear it when you're punching them with facts from the outside, and that was just my interesting the has, whether it's physical or emotional, Facebook. So you won't see me say nothing on there because I'm like, why am I gonna piss off a robot? Really? What good is that? They're not gonna feel bad. So it's like, we're gonna peace out, bro. We're gonna just stay out of your way because you got a job to do and you will do it. So just observation. Uh, Violence is systemic. I can't, and what concerns me at this is the following story I did not post of Beto O'Rourke saying the first thing he would do is do a mandatory take away all your guns. And I'm like, that's exactly what they did in World War II. They like, take your guns away so you couldn't fight against the government. So I'm like, America, you're kind of already gone down that road, and that fight will continue. And the preppers that I hang out with and like to watch as a child of a prepper, I just go, okay, this is coming on strong. And this is the point of this violence that we will see over the next months, is to really push that control. Now, whether Trump wins or not, he's pushing those buttons uh, like everybody else will. So that ain't the solution I would recommend we go to. I want to see if this thing will let me do it a different way. How can I? Nope. Looks like I have to unshare it and then go to the next one. That's a little cumbersome. All right, let's go to international news. All right, let's get that out of the way. Hong Kong unauthorized protests end was riot police storming subway stations with batons and paper spray. So, oops, I just dropped my art. Um, yeah, sure did. So China's getting to the state of they've already had tanks going down the street, and what again the big issue here is taking away the rights of people to speak up. China wants to take any Chinese person because they want to claim all of Hong Kong and say if you don't say something we don't like, we gonna put you in jail, just like they're doing to Julian Assange and anybody else that speaks up. And I was listening to an interview earlier from a this is They've dyed the water so they can start identifying protesters and staining their bodies. If you were there, you got sprayed, they're going to come arrest you. The other stories that RT News did is people wearing the yellow mask. However, you need to understand that the CCP, which is a government authority, our TSA, our big brother, the Chinese big brother, their technology works from looking head down. Not yes, they can from the ground level. The cameras can zoom in on your face, which is why when I met con artists in the U.S., they always wore baseball caps so they could try to block some of that and sunglasses to block some of that. However, their cameras now are working from satellite, and so that they follow the way you walk and the movement of your head, and they can scan the top of your head because that doesn't change very often. So you can put a hat on it, but the style of your walk and your gait is a telltale. So like any body movement, like I like to read faces and look at what's going on in their story by looking at their face. They're looking at our bodies. So there was another interview I started this morning with the wealthiest Chinese who has gotten asylum in the US. But I haven't finished that, so I can't tell you that story. But his thing was, you don't understand. The strategy of the Chinese are to weaken and then to kill you. And they've already started a long time ago. So I'm like, oh, yeah, well, nothing like a plan and the money to pull it off. And yes, I can see it, but now they're taking credit for and going, yeah, we were working on this. Why do you think we sold you those products so cheap? I went, uh-huh, okay, gotcha. So, man, what a plan. What can you say? Um, all right, so that's that one. Let's go to this next one. Bring it back home again. I got to talk about our brother, Mr. Trump, who is he had been talking about this a year ago, but now he's done it. Launches the U.S. Space Command to address new threats. And I went, new threats? Okay, let's see what he's saying. What are the new threats? And he says commercially, he's looking at our technology. Morgan Stanley is pushing this one because they've got revenues of $350 billion they don't want to lose. So he's there wanting the government to pay for security guards for their satellites in space. That's what Space Command is about. It's for protecting the satellites. And eh, there's another story. Yes, China and yes, they're looking at uh, attacks from other nations on the planet, according to Al Jazeera. This is an Al Jazeera story. But it's this one line here: the loss of a single satellite from debris or a meteorite can set companies back by hundreds of millions of dollars and cost thousands of jobs. Well, today's suspicious observer was talking about the very same thing, is that they have a challenge with a I'm going to look for that one. I want to show you the satellite, what they're doing about it. There's a meteorite coming that they're like to blow the meteorite out of the way. Well, it's here. They're trying to blow it out of the way, and they can't. It's not working so good. So I'm like, oops, that's a bummer. Hate when that happens. So that uh, challenge is their next. What are we going to do about it? And there's lots more coming. What I like about suspicious observers is they have started to pay attention to what has transpired on other now because your right shower is heading our way. They're going, it's a supernova, our star going through, or not even a supernova, but a call it that. They have another name for it. I'm not getting it right. And it was that concern that made them go, well, you know what? How much is coming our way? And a couple of years ago, when I had asked these guys here at Suspicious Observer, I said, well, what about this Nibiru? Do you guys see it coming? And they're like, nah, it's still in the sci-fi. But last year they did notice it was coming. So I went, oh, okay. So you do see it now. So now they're taking a different approach to it and going, okay, we want to do that. I want to work on that next. So this is what I want to show you. Now, come on, how would you let me? I want to change screens. It doesn't let me do it. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. This is what I want to show you. No surprise. I love it when they call surprise on astronomy. Like, that's the kind of words you don't want to hear. Oop, surprise. Okay, here it is. Europe and US teaming up for asteroid deflection. This was yesterday. So this is like, uh-oh, because they see this little big bad boy coming and they're going, we need to uh, deal with this. And so they've got these cute little satellite thingy that they're trying to stick on the asteroid and blow it up and move it out the way, just like in the movie, and make it go poof and see if it'll go somewhere. Um, they haven't proven it works yet, so we'll see if it happens. But that is the current plan: is to move it out the way. They're coming, and we can see them coming. And the challenge, again, I'm not worried about Trump or China or the nanobots that we all got breathing, or the microplastics, because those are the slow kills. Good old asteroid knock you out real fast. So we're like, okay, let's not worry about it, y'all. We just keep doing what we're doing and have a good time. So that was what was the current news on the weather again, and I just went, wow, thanks. But Trump is working on it, so give him that. Um, let's go to. hmm, Oh yeah, let's get to this. Oh, more. I'm moving into the edutainment section, so let me talk about this. More scene, and there are. Uh, I'm seeing the names and faces of the clientele of pedophilia. You know, cops, head of universities, and there's another woman who was posting them. I'm not going to post them because to me that is the shaming process, and it's not going to help them. Local does not help you, so it doesn't give you any energy, and there's no point of that. I do want to talk about his art though, because art to me is picture you're putting out and that reflection you're trying to make. And Epstein's art is very interesting. Yes, there's some and that they haven't described, but his political art, what when I talked ago, as connection to girlfriend is the dog. This whole setup was used to trick people and manipulate the politicians. Bill Richards of New Mexico, was a guy I've met, is also caught up in this, but it is this particular picture that I home to what these guys are doing, and how the entrapment is so very strong. So this is the picture of Bill Clinton, and it is it looks it's blue of bandits that had, and the red shoes is from another picture of his wife, Hillary, in another similar dress. Um, and just, I just wanted to take a look at the piece of art and go, what you telling us, Bill? The legs, the sexuality, the wedding band. That was the interesting part. I was like, okay, we're going to show the wedding band. Don't let that go. And the finger, the accusatory finger. And he's right there with you. And he's sitting right there, suggestively, comfortably going, I'm right here with you. I see you. I am with you. I am part of this story. There's another picture, because was in his home. This is personal art. This is not and that's his home. But here's the better one. Here's the other story. Here's the child in the office. This is pretty, ouch, snap. What we're going to say about Mr. Bush. And this is called War Games. And this is what the little boy wanted to play. So the little boy was allowed to play. Um, Very strong messages to have in your home for your guests to see. And that's the continual story of Mr. Epstein's legacy. Um, he was a hustler. He hustled. He did his game and hustled strongly. So, I don't know the end of his story. Not really interested in the end of his story, but that's where it's at. All right, so let's go to news we can use, because this one I've been following for a while. Oh, wait, there's a. I don't need to see her. I need to see my sister here. This is an ex IRS agent who I had heard about some years ago, and when right after Wesley Snipes got out of jail, and Wesley, declared his sovereignty, and he understood that the corporation of America, when he was given a birth certificate, was given a social security number, an insurance policy was bought on him, traded as a commodity. And so his name in owns your corporation. And so you can look at your own birth certificate and see how your corporate ID and your corporate number are formed for you. But this sister, IRS agent, on her game, and she said, and she read a story that was posted in the USA Today of another guy who said, if you can find me in the tax code where it says we have to pay, I will pay you $10,000. And so Sister Girl said, I'm getting that money. She's still looking for it. And this is a 2010, when she's had almost 3 million views on this shot. It's 2007. So this girl, and oops, sorry, when you speak up, you get in trouble. And when you start blowing that whistle, look at those lips pursed for blowing the whistle and blow that girl up. Um, they'll find something to get you. And so she went to jail. I said, oops, ouch, mama, I know exactly how you feel. Because I was threatened to go to jail. And I was like, ooh, don't want to do that. But and I did spend a couple hours in jail, so I was like, I did go. It was rather painful and rather just stressful as hell. I'm talking about watching stress pop out of your body. I'm like, woo. Um, but she did some time for some little misdemeanor they found for to get her on to shut her up. She's still working. She's still doing her thing, and she's still showing you how to do it. She just has gotten a little cooler and low key. I've sent her an email. I'm gonna try to talk to her and say, "Hey, girl, talk to us. Tell us what's going on." But there was another news story, and I posted this some time ago, about a Senate hearing, a congressional hearing, where a former IRS employee was brought before um, the hearing and had to testify. Internal Revenue Service taxes are not a government agency. The dollars do not go back into the economy as we are told. They are funding private corporate efforts of basically our military budget, a very, very big military budget. So we don't get streets and roads. That's what we figured out a long time ago, but we couldn't. They hide it from us very nicely, so we can't get to it. So this sister girl says, well, it's voluntary. And the testimony the IRS employee said before the Congress was, it's voluntary. You don't have to pay. But once you do, they won't nag you to death to keep giving them more. But it's your right as a citizen to exercise that. And now, living out of the country, I make a very low income and I say, hey, I'm doing it, but I'm not making enough to pay you and I'm not going to because I'm following your rules. So that's why I don't want to start a fight with them because don't start a fight. They try to make your life hell. So you just have to avoid. Your strategy is to avoid. Don't pick a fight. Walk away. So just pay attention to that. But the link for my sister is in the Patreon listing, so that's what the followers get. So there you go. Next, let's go. Oh, 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 oh. Let's go to Graham, my brother Graham. So he's done this new talk on us Americans before lost civilizations. And it's nothing really new from Graham, but it just kind of punches it in like, hey, we've been here before, we've done this before. And as our civilization to the next extinction, what have we learned and how do we keep surviving? And I wanted to, he's, yes, listen to Graham. I like Graham. And I appreciate his work, and particularly because it gives me past information that matters. What I want to say though is what I've since I got a new book, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, let me grab it. I'm in the bedroom. It's kind of convenient having you right here in my house. Okay. This little baby, Omniverse. It got gifted to me. It was in a box sitting waiting for me. Someone to pick it up and they handed it to me. And it was wonderful because I'm like, oh, Albert, I know you've been doing your homework, bro. And I love when somebody does their homework and I can read their cliff notes and read ahead. So that was my point. But I couldn't even get past the first page. First page. This brother right here, um, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, PhD, author of Dark Light Consciousness, Melanin, Serpent Power, and the Luminous Matrix of Reality, and the African Unconsciousness. Unconscious, excuse me, unconscious, not ness, unconscious. And I went, oh, excuse me, new rabbit hole, I'm going down there. And, oh, I can't wait to, mm, and he fine too. So this is a brother I'm really interested in talking to. And I just kind of went crazy this morning when I found it because this got gifted to me last night. So I was like, so I'm going to be on a readathon over the next week and tell you what I can pull together. Um, Again, I'm still a little, last week I was talking about Ananda Bosman and the aliens talking to us with lights. And I'm like, we can't read the lights, y'all. We are language deficient. And it's that skill set that we're going to have to kick up because it's going to be difficult. And as a friend described it to me, I hope you're not getting all the construction in the back. Sorry about that. Is that the it's like we aliens trying to talk to us is like we trying to talk to ants. We're the ants. And I'm like, ow. So as much as I love learning, I'm like, and the ants are trying to talk to them. So it is a frustration. At this level of consciousness, I'm going, y'all got to help. Because I'm like, okay, make a little bridge for me to cross over the water. I used to do that with ants, put leaves on so they could cross over and get across the bridge. And that little animation video called The Crow with John Legend and Oprah Winfrey is a lovely diagram of that, how we as a species need these little baby steps to move us down the road. Mm, I'm getting a little verklempt on that. Um, Let me light some incense. Let me get some Palo Santo up in here. For you, for us, for all of us. So, we humans, as frail and as flawed as we are, have something of incredible value. It is a hope that I make this effort that I live on. And it is our creativity, it is our ability to express beauty and art. It is our gift to the universe. And very few of us get the opportunity to do so. And it's because of that that we are in pain. And Jordan Peterson talks about the 80-20 rule. 20% of us that do pursue our art live fulfilled lives. And when I read that, I went, well, let's get on that. How can I help people get there? Because that's all we got in this existence is that fulfillment of our lives, right? So the Mayans have given us a math formula. And they said humans are here to create art. And they said time, because this is a time based system, multiplied by energy, focus, all this ability that is available equals our art. You got time, you got focus. What are you doing with it? Again, I say don't focus on making money from it. Money is another energy. But when you focus on your fulfillment, your art, your purpose, the energy comes to you. You attract, you attract, you attract, you attract. So, fulfilling our purpose, that's why we came here for. And I must encourage you, please fulfill your purpose. Don't wait. Don't wait to hang your art, even if it does fall. I've carried that tube of art around for 7 years. And I hung it in my lovely apartment in Beverly Hills, but I took it down and said, no, the things that I love, the beauty that makes my heart go up, I was like, oh, I need to see this. I need to see this in my being, in my space. So I did. I just hung my art this morning. Took a minute, but I got it up. I'll do it again because it won't stick enough. Um, but it'll heal yourself. The physicians, it was kind of a heal yourself, but so it's a poke. Heal ourselves. So that's the news I wanted to share with you this week. Um, Equinox is coming everywhere. I ask you to consider coming here. I'm going to be interviewing Gary Morgan on Thursday, and that's going to be another YouTube. I'm moving everything to YouTube. I still have Thursday morning on Facebook Live, but everybody is going. We're going. Last Facebook Live is this Thursday, and I'm going to talk about C60 with Dixon Dangers. Can't wait to introduce you to him. Gary Morgan's another brother from another mother, but he's deep. Graham Hancock knows Gary Morgan and admires Gary Morgan. So I went, oh, I need to talk to Gary Morgan. Gary Morgan feeds me every day because he's a chef, 40 years doing that, and he's our baker at the Mestizo. So I have built my own little heaven right here. I don't have to cook. I have a beautiful apartment. I have a beautiful garden right downstairs. I have a stage. I have music. I have art. I have found a perfect place to expire, as we call Vilcabamba. So I decided to anchor and sit here and um, enjoy this life as much as I can because I'm a pig and that's how we do. So if you are here for the equinox, I invite you to come because we want to. I always have to make last minute changes, and my big picture of let's just make it a general personal heal you, focus on you. But it is last days of time, and this is not the second coming of Christ, as the Christians like to think. But they're saying the 28th time this planet has had a reboot, and I'm like, you know, we may be expired now. Science is saying this is our last reboot. The Hopi said we got one more. I'm like, well, it it's still a reboot, and the reboot comes, and we all get it gets cold and we go to sleep and we die and we either come back do it again and reincarnate into another plane, same plane or higher plane. So I'm going for expansion. You know, it's kind of like my Wi-Fi signal. I want to go from one point and expand outward and keep going and expand my consciousness as much as I can and my being, that it will heal, evolve, grow. My heart loves that feeling of, oh, yes. Especially as I said earlier, learning is my first fetish. I love learning. It makes my body expand. So I want to expand and I want to take you with me. So come down and visit and spend some time. I'm trying to figure out how. I think I'm just gonna do. Well, I have a day rate, but don't. That's kind of too American. So I'm like, but I've got to work out a way how to make it doable for more people, and because I want you here and I want you to experience it, and it's a yin vortex, and it's a safe harbor. And if you're on the coast, get the fuck off the coast. Get out of dangerous spaces as soon as possible. And if you're leaving America, hurry up. Trump is going to play the race card because that's how he can keep a base of anger energy lifting him up. So he knows exactly what he's doing on the race baiting card and will continue to do so. So it will get worse for you, African Americans. So I encourage you, get the fuck out of that country as soon as possible. No ifs and buts or maybes. It's just history. We've done this before. Um, they learned from the Germans how to get rid of the people you don't like. They learned, and they have put all of those pieces into place. Virginia Woolf talks about this in the top 10 things that have to happen before America implodes. They have already happened. She wrote that book some time ago, and she's targeted and she's on Twitter. You can find her paying attention at the political level. But I'm like, rise above. Politics is not going to save you. Do not wait for a vote. That's the whole point. They are sucker punching you into sticking around for the next one. And the Democrats are doing the same game. They're playing the same game. They're going to make you defenseless and say, "Well, we tried, and we should try harder." But and letting you have your sexuality rights because they want you to dive into not paying attention. The freedom to hang yourself in your own ignorance. It's what you don't know that will kill you. So no more. Save yourself. So it's been 40 minutes. I think that's enough information to throw at you. And thank you for being. I love you very much. Um, what else? I think that's everything. Love you. Bye, y'all.